Oh man, 10 pounds. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Check it out. It's the SwellPro Fisherman Max heavy lift fishing drone. So today I really want to do a lift test on this thing. I just rigged up a little wire with a stopper on the end that we can attach to the bottom member of that drop mechanism. This does dual drops at 2 different locations. They claim it can lift like 6 or 7 pounds. And what we might also do is test the flight time with that lift weight. So if you're taking some really heavy bait out, at least you know maybe how long it can fly before it's gonna go into low battery mode, so you can kind of time your flights. We're also gonna be doing some remote drop tests as well. That's gonna be in another video, so make sure you guys subscribe and check the link down below for where you can get the Fisherman Max. This is a beast. Let's get started with this weight lift test. If you missed the series on this thing, I did an unboxing and initial flight test in pouring rain. So don't forget to also check out the series on the Max as well. One of the things I didn't see when I was unboxing it is this propeller tightening tool. This thing is actually supposed to be used. I was just tightening these screw-on propellers as tight as I could with my fingers. So this was included in the box. Unfortunately, it was wrapped in the lanyard right here. So I didn't see it in the lanyard bag. You would think this would fit on the lanyard, but it doesn't even fit on their little clip here. So I don't know why they put it with a lanyard. So I mentioned to them, maybe you want to put this in a different location. After you get these finger tight, guys, the propellers, you just put this over the motor like this on the little notches, and you just kind of crank it a little more until it doesn't really move anymore. For the initial test, I'm going to do what they claim it's going to lift. I have a 5-pound weight here, 2.5-pound weight. Probably put this one on the bottom. So this is the 2.5, and this is going to be the 5. So it should lift this. This is like 7.5 pounds. We're going to see if it gives us any errors or whatever when we lift this 7.5 pounds. Now that's dang heavy, man. I mean, I have never had a drone that can lift even a few pounds, except for the previous generation splash drones. They can lift a few pounds. Let's boot this thing up, lift it, and see how long it can fly on this. We'll pop another battery in. We're gonna try this 10-pounder right here. This is over what its weight capacity says it is, but we're gonna just try it and see if it can even lift 10 pounds. This is one of those giant bad boy drones that you do not wanna mess with when it's flying. So I'm gonna go ahead and clip on this 7.5 pounds weight before I take off. 2 release drops. There's 2 little areas right there. So I'm gonna open them both up, slide the wire in here. There we go. So see that? We're all the way through. And there is that 7.5 pounds hanging off of that drone, man. This is gonna be crazy. There you go, just to check the weight again. 2.5 on the bottom, 5 on the top. Let's see if this bad boy can lift this and how long it can fly for. Let's go ahead and arm this bad boy. Both sticks down and in. Look at that beast. All right, here we go. So as soon as you push up, this thing will launch like 2 meters into the air. And let's see how it deals with this initial 7.5 pounds just lifting off at a weird angle, right? Here we go. Pushing up. Woo! Oh man, that is loud. Rotate the camera down for you so you can see the weights dangling down there. Wow, that's crazy. You see those weights on the cam? Woo! So anyway, wind's hitting it right now. This is how it's dealing with like a swirling, like 10-mile-per-hour wind sometimes on occasion. I can really feel that air just pushing and swirling right now, just from the drone too. Wow, sorry I'm talking so loud, but I'm not sure if you guys can hear me under this super loud drone. So there it is. I'm not getting any warnings on the screen yet. Everything's looking good. Let's see how kind of long it can hang with these, this 7.5 pounds, man. We'll try and move around a little bit. So say you're taking your bait out. You don't want to do any like super sudden movements, because you don't want that thing to start swinging around, and who knows, maybe your line is going out. If you're fishing, you're going to have a line attached to it too, right? So you don't want to, you want to be as gentle as you can with a fishing drone so you don't cut your line with the propellers. Coming on back. I'm just gonna, for testing, I'm gonna let off right now. Woo! Wow. 7.5 pounds, guys. Going forward, letting off. I don't really want to carry this much weight too far just because there's trails out here, and I would hate for this weight to drop on somebody. You don't want to do that, right? You want to make sure no one's in the area. Let's go back at a kind of a full speed clip and let off and see how it deals with it. Okay, letting off. Woo! Oh boy. And you notice how it's kind of fluctuating up and down on its own. That's the barometer inside, just a little bit of buffer zone, because these kinds of drones aren't as accurate as drones with ground sensors on them. This doesn't have any ground sensors. See how it's going? This is going up on its own. So that's that barometer inaccuracy. That's actually going up quite a bit. So it looks like it's gonna fluctuate maybe like 10, 15 feet occasionally with this drone. Let's come on down, see how it deals with it. Come down and then stop. Woo! So I was coming down at a few miles per hour and just stopped, and you could hear those motors. Let's try to do a quick little punch up. No warnings yet at 7.5 pounds. Awesome. Been flying for about 4 minutes. Punch up. Wow. Holy smoke, 7 pounds. Full speed down. Whoa. Wow, yeah, that sucked up some power, so you really don't want to do full speed down, throttle off when you have this. You want to come down very slowly. But it really does try to just maintain itself with this extra poundage. So with all that, we're at 5 minutes, and it looks like the battery is 22 volts. Starting to get low, you know, so wow. Let's do a little bit of a yaw spin here. Left. Woo! Stopping. Right. Whoa. Wow. Man, it's dealing though. It's handling it. So you really don't want to, with this drone especially, since it has that barometer inaccuracy and it kind of fluctuates, you really want to stay away from connecting your drop clip when it's flying, right? Because you really don't want those propellers to hit you, man. You will get cut up really bad. Those are carbon fiber knives, basically. 21.8 volts. And I probably don't want to land it with this weight on it, so I'm going to drop it from just a little bit of height here. I'm going to bring it down as low as I can so I don't damage my son's weights. And then we're just going to drop it. So we're starting to get low, 21. I think I'll go to 21 volts and just see what the flight time is. Man, this thing is a beast. Woo! Unreal. Don't want to get any closer than that, that's for sure. It's pretty stable laterally, but vertically you can see it kind of going whoop. It seems though like when it equalizes, maybe the pressure inside there, after it heats up, that barometer starts to get a little bit more accurate. You know what I'm saying? And the whole time, guys, I'll have this camera also, you know, looking at the weights down there so you can see what they're doing, swinging around. Let's rock it a little bit, back and forth. Woo! It's maintaining, man. That thing is a monster. See how it kind of goes up after I let off all the controls? And now it's coming down a little bit on its own. That's just its barometer inaccuracies. Still at 21.6, 21.5. Wow, so definitely enough time to take this out a few hundred yards and drop it and come on back. Because once you release your weight, right, that battery voltage is going to come right back up, and you're not going to be having that load coming back home. So this will give you a good idea of just how long it can fly with all this weight on it. And I want to be prepared to drop this just in case it tries to land on it. That'll definitely be a tip, and we don't want to damage it because it'll try to land right on that weight. Went down a little bit on its own there. So, man, this is awesome. Still at 21.4 volts. So remember, I wanted to go to 21 and see what our time is. We're right around 9 minutes on our flight with this 7.5 pounds of weight. 21.3 volts. We go down a little closer to the ground to get ready to drop this. .2 volts. Yeah, look at that thing. Okay guys, 20.9 volts and it's still flying. It just said low battery warning. I'm gonna go ahead and drop this. There it goes. It just went up and started to do its return to home. So we've successfully dropped it. Oh man, I think I broke my son's weight. I'm gonna have to repair that. It does a low battery return to home, so you really don't have to worry about flying out and then it landing in the water somewhere. So that was a good 10 minutes. So let's just see how accurate it is on its return to home with this first battery. It's coming down really slow, not touching anything. That's definitely must be a real relief for it. The voltage popped up a few points. It's like 20 volts now. It went down to 19.9. We'll just let it land so I can kind of show you if you guys haven't seen the other videos. This thing's actually not too bad at its return to home landings. Pick that camera back up.
Aircraft locked.
There we go. And if you guys haven't heard that voice before, it's a really clear voice. Let me let you hear that again. I'm going to switch into cruise and Addy.
Cruise mode. ATTI mode.
Cool, huh?
Return to home.
So these buttons have the voice prompts. These ones over here don't. The photo and video and payload release.
ATTI mode. GPS mode.
Anyway, guys, we're down to 19.1 volts, man. So we had a good 10 minutes about of flight time with the load on it. That's 7.5 pounds. I'm gonna have to repair my son's 5-pound weight. He made those out of concrete, and I just broke it. Yep, that's a 5-pound concrete weight. So I'll fix that for him. Sorry, buddy. Anyway, guys, let's go ahead and put on the next battery and try 10 pounds and see if this thing can handle 10. This is going to be awesome. Okay guys, I have no idea if this thing is going to be able to handle 10 pounds, which is quite a bit over what it's rated to actually lift. So I got to be more careful with this 10-pound concrete weight so it doesn't break. Got to get a little lower before I drop it. If you're going to lean it up like this, you just want to be really careful. This might actually be a better way than holding the whole drone. But you don't want to damage those motors, right? So I'd put a towel down if you're at the beach or something. There we go. We are locked in. Hopefully it can handle this. Okay guys, are you ready? Here we go. Both sticks down and in.
Aircraft unlocked.
Okay, start recording. Hopefully it saved that other video. I actually shut it off before I stopped recording. So here we go, recording. We want an accurate time, so here we go. Up. Whoa. Oh man. 10 pounds. Got even louder. So I'm getting no warning yet on the screen of like overload. That's promising. Just fly it around a little bit with 10 pounds. Woo! Roll to the left. So when you have it this loaded, you want to give yourself a lot of room for it to stop. See, if I'm pushing right now and let go, that did pretty good actually, but it kind of starts to wander until it settles in after. Wow, I thought it'd be giving me some kind of warning like the battery amperage too high, amperage draw. Let's try the same test, some spinning. No problem for this monster. Come down a little bit. Forward, letting off. See how it just slowly settles in. Spin the other way. Whoop, wrong button. Wrong control stick. Yeah, I just really want to. Well, let's rotate the camera down so you can see that 10-pounder hanging there. 2 buttons on the top let you rotate up and down with the camera. There's our 10 pounds dangling. No over amperage draw warnings or anything with 10 pounds. So it looks like they're you know, a little bit under with their rated lift weight just to be safe. But it can handle 10 pounds, no problem. Let's just fly forward and back a bit. Coming back. Woo! It's dealing with it. So I'd imagine you could even lift more than this, but I'm not going to lift anymore just for the sake of the batteries. Like if you really wanted to push it, I'm sure you could lift a couple more pounds. Just go back and forth a bit. See how it deals. Woo! I'm going to go up slowly. Yes, we can gain altitude. I'm just really slowly pushing the stick. Get up into the wind a bit. Wow. Definitely a lot more windy up there. You can see it shaking. See the wind gusts hitting it. Okay, I have a red on my battery. We're 21.9 volts, so it's definitely getting lower a lot faster on the battery. We're at 4 minutes of record time. Come on down, let go. Ooh, a little bit harder for it to maintain that weight and stop it, but it's still managing. My goodness. want to get too close. 21.7 volts. Seems like with big drones like this too, you're getting more of an air vortex. And so it's influencing itself more so than like a smaller drone would, just because you have all this air that it's trying to push. There's some wind nailing it. 4 minutes and 50 seconds, about 5 minutes. 21.6 volts on the controller, which is showing me the power of the drone. Unreal, man. So it seems like right around 20 volts, it wants to return home. So I'm gonna go right to 20 again and then just bring it low and drop it really low so I don't damage this weight like I was saying. Let's just do a little bit of flying around until then. Just gonna do some slow. Whoa, I almost hit that tree. Oh, get up there. Wow. It's really sluggish, guys. I literally almost hit that tree because it was just banking too wide for what I was thinking it was gonna do. So when you're turning and you're pushing forward, it still wants to slide out to the right or left. See that? I'm pushing forward a little and it's just really, I'm just pushing slow. Whoa, 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 full throttle up. Oh man, getting super sluggish. So I would not push this any more past 10 pounds, or you could lose your drone in the water. Again, these are waterproof, so even if you do lose it in the water and you have those floaties on, which I'd recommend, at least it'll float. Turns over, you do that same arming technique and it will flip itself back over, both sticks down and in, if it has signal, right? What would be great is if it would flip over in the water and it loses signal from the controller, if it would automatically initiate a flip maneuver and then return to home, launch and return to home, but I'm not sure if these do that. Another test. So wow, we've been flying actually for 7.5 minutes. We've got 21 volts left. It almost seems like this is gonna fly about the same time as the 7.5 pounds. I just got an aircraft low battery at 20.8 volts about. Oh crap, it wants to land. Okay, I'm gonna drop this. It's getting too much for it. I'm gonna drop the payload.
Aircraft low battery.
Yep, okay. So when it got below 21 volts, guys, it started to, that's 10 pounds, just started to pull it down and I had to like push up on the throttle.
Aircraft low battery.
Nice.
Please return to home.
So we're not gonna do a return to home now. What we're gonna do
Aircraft low battery. Please return to home.
is I'm just gonna fly it over here and land it manually. Boy, but that was a good 8 minutes before we had any trouble. Let's go ahead and land manually here.
Aircraft lost.
There you go. You just pull down on the stick and it just locks the propellers almost immediately. That weight did a lot better when I dropped it. Still intact. Damn, that was awesome. But what a successful flight, man. 7.5 and 10 pounds. Let me get this back over to the truck and let's just really do kind of a pros and cons and rehash all that happened with that much weight. All right, guys, let's talk about a pros and cons. I gotta say, just really impressed with its weight lifting capacity and also the stability while it's lifting the weight. So the 7.5 pounds, no problem up until about 10 minutes. So we got 10 minutes of flight with 7.5 pounds. It seemed like the 10 pounder, that was about 8 minutes. So you're subtracting about 2 minutes per, 2.5, 3 pounds. And at that 8 minutes, when it dropped below was it 21 volts? It started to get a little bit wonky. One of the cons, it gets really loud when you add a weight to it. It's not that loud without any weight on it. It's bearable. But once you start adding weight, man, get ready, because it's gonna sound like a plane flying by pretty much. And this thing pushes some air, man. It felt like a 10-mile-per-hour breeze coming down when I had those weights on. Just amazing. And then it creates that vortex, messes with its flight characteristics a little bit, so you probably want to take it a little higher. Flying over water when you're fishing, you know, not too bad. You're probably going to be up there. You got people standing around you when you're fishing or something. You really want to just be careful putting any kind of movements on it. Doing pirouettes was okay. It didn't really wander too much. As far as the stick movements, a little more sluggish. I was going around by those trees trying to do a turn, and man, I thought I was going to hit that pine tree over there, because you're turning and moving and it just wants to like slide really wide and then come back. So just be really careful of that. Motors, kind of like in the high warm zone. This is about a minute after flight. See if we can get the laser right on that motor. 122 degrees, 124 in the sun. Let's try this one. 119 in the sun. Okay, let's take out this battery and see what the battery temp is with that 10 pounds of weight. 140 to 148. See if we go on the plastic, 143. If we go on the black casing, 148. Definitely not hot, just in the high warm. Remember, it is a beast of a drone. But if you're looking to drop heavy bait, you don't have too many options. I think there's a couple drones out there only that do it. This one's brand new on the market, really beefy. It seems to fly fine for what it's meant to do. Two things I really think would benefit SwellPro if they could start implementing on their drones is, one, maybe you don't need the barometer if you put on bottom camera sensors, okay, to locate the ground and the water. So maybe they could start somehow implementing that and keeping it waterproof and seal those up. I mean, they do have a waterproof camera here, so I don't see how it would be that hard just to put in a couple of those cheaper optical flow sensors or ground sensors, so it doesn't have that up and down wander. The second thing, guys, is they really need to upgrade, like I was saying, their analog FPV and control technology. If they could get something like OcuSync on this thing, man, maybe just invest in the technology so you'd have crystal clear video. People are gonna mainly use this drone as a fishing drone, but their other, like their splash drones, those are meant for type of video that's really smooth. They would really do well with some kind of better transmittal technology. It seems like they did try their kind of a Wi-Fi digital with their Splash Drone 4, but that didn't really work very well for me. It's just nowhere near on par with the new technology out there now for wireless. So those are the two things I really wish. It looks like they have everything else is good. Their cameras are well waterproof. Their drones are well waterproofed, as long as you take care of them. Always want to wash them, dunk them in water, in fresh water if you're going in the ocean, or even flying in salt air near the ocean. What I didn't say in my flight test in the rain, guys, is a good practice too, is after you're done washing your drone, give it another fly when it's sunny out or dry out, because that will really dry out pretty much everything. You got all that wind and the motors are spinning really fast. It's getting all that water out, because what can damage components too and bearings is just leaving water residue, even if it's fresh water and it's just sitting in there for a while, like stored in your garage. Anyway, guys, I really hope you enjoyed that. That was super fun for me, and I hope you got a lot of info. So 10 pounds, no problem. Optimally 7 pounds. It can fly pretty much as normal with a little bit of sluggishness. And I hope you guys don't forget to keep an eye out on the remaining tests I'm gonna do on this bad boy. This has, remember, dual payload drops. Remember this little guy here, it has two little sections to drop two payloads at two different times. And you can punch in coordinates and do an automated flight to drop those payloads, which is super awesome. And I really want to experiment with that. So I'm going to do that out here in the country. Even beyond video and controller range, I want to see if we can do a pre-planned automated flight. Tell it to fly out there, drop payload 1 in a certain spot, fly to a new location, drop payload 2, and then fly back. And I really want to test if you can do that even out of the connection for video and control range. That'll be a good test, so stay tuned for that one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.